Greetings, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the last 2 weeks. I'm going to rectify the straightness of this camera just a tad. Om Vajra Bhujagari Kanakam Rahum. This is the mantra of this week. Breathe, relax, set yourself in the mood for class as we allow others to connect. Pay attention in the abdomen to your whole body if you want. The focus is in the abdomen. All right. And you breathe deeply. You let go. The mudras this week. This is my right hand. Om Vajra Bhujagari Kanakam Rahum. Like if you're holding a box. And then relax it a bit so you don't stay tense. Good. With some happiness inside you. It's not fake happiness, but it's happiness generated by your own will, if you want. Mostly peace. All right. Let's start with a simple contemplation that could be an integration if you want. Do I go with sense of responsibility? It's easy. Let's go with reactions. Good. We lose our own sense of peace through our reactions. We don't choose to become disappointed or angry. It happens. We react. When in reaction, we completely forget all the peace we had. It's not even part of our mind. So let's take a moment to remember, do I prefer being in a reaction or being at peace? It's a rhetorical question. Okay. Being at peace requires us to want to remain at peace. When a reaction rises from inside, it can be the intellect, but usually it's emotional or physical. A reaction rises and it tries to push out the peace. And then happiness is long gone by that time. So it takes our own will to decide, I prefer being peaceful and enjoying myself. All right, so the next step is these reactions I have, they don't concern the other towards which I'm reacting to. They concern me, my beliefs, my desires, my own anger. Okay? So let's just remember that before we do the practice of the week of the MahaKaruna, of the great compassion. Because having great compassion sounds good. It sounds good. but it's hard to accomplish. Compassion is a concept that we will study and practice decades, as much as we can, of course. Great compassion. What is the difference between great compassion and compassion? Okay. The difference between Karuna and MahaKaruna. Compassion is local. It's what I experience. And compassion is more a series of actions than a feeling. So let us give precision on that. Compassion is something we often say we feel. Oh, I feel compassion. But are the actions you pose compassionate? Compassion is more the art of acting and speaking virtuously and responsibly and peacefully than a feeling of compassion. I feel so much compassion. Actually, when you feel compassion, it can be true and it can be disguised. Okay? Like, I feel compassion towards this person. Doesn't mean that you consider the other a victim of something, which will make you into a savior. Or do you say that you feel compassion, but I feel so much compassion to this person because they suffer so much. Again, the victim. Or I wouldn't wish them on them, and I'm so sorry it happens. This is not compassion. This is pity. Okay, it's not compassion. Okay, so yes, feeling compassion can be true, of course. Most of the time it is. It is a desire of the other to be good, without all the negative weight of sorrow and pity. Oh, poor little thing that you suffer. Or, shit happens in life. This is so bothersome. Like, oh my God, I'm not happy because of what something happened to another. That is not compassion. That is projection. Okay. So it's important to understand compassion is a feeling of everyone to be better or happy, including ourselves, but mostly we feel it towards others. When that feeling of compassion is accompanied by a terrible dread, oh my God, what just happened? I pray and I feel so much compassion. That's not compassion you're feeling. It's all reactions of, I am afraid that this would happen to me. It's projection. Okay. So it's interesting to understand compassion is not negatively charged with, oh my God, what is happening? There's no drama in the feeling of compassion. There is peace. So if you feel compassion, but you're not at peace, like, I feel compassion for a certain situation, but you're not at peace, maybe it's not compassion, or maybe it's not entirely compassion. So you might want to check at your dramatic reaction when you use the word compassion too often in situations they don't really apply. If we want to cultivate compassion, then we need to understand the true sense of the word, compassion. It is a profound desire for equity, peace, happiness for all. If we don't study and contemplate what is the true sense of compassion, we will end up using the word compassion in situations where it does not apply. To actually deny, I'm afraid that this happens to me. Poor victim. Oh, can I be your savior? Like many other reactions that are not compassionate that we actually call compassion, okay? So this is false compassion, when we use the word compassion on a set of reactions that we have towards suffering. Okay, so yes, it will take time to to cultivate what is the true sense of compassion. It takes time. Thank you, Shivan. Now that we understand more what is compassion, what is great compassion? MahaKaruna. Great compassion is not local. If compassion is local, in me, in you, in us. Great compassion, or MahaKaruna, is not local. It is a sense of universal compassion that is everywhere, latent, as the divine planes in the background are caring for equity, peace, and happiness of everything that is conscious. Okay? So the process of MahaKaruna mudras and the MahaKaruna Dharani is not specific to developing our local compassion. We develop and cultivate local compassion so we can understand what is the actual universal compassion. And it leads to faith and hope. To trust that everything is in motion for all to evolve and to emancipate. Because the goal of the universe is not only for evolution, it is also for emancipation. For us to try stuff and enjoy it. And then, of course, shit happens. And we enjoy what we can. Right? So, understand great compassion as a universal feeling that is way beyond the ability of a single human to grasp. To get a good idea of the MahaKaruna in the universe, we cultivate Karuna. Okay, our own sense of compassion. And in order to do that, we have to see the trap of false compassion, where we use the sense of compassion to justify in a happy, butterfly, hippie way the fact that we are reacting to world suffering. That's a big lesson, okay? We have done so far 21 seals. We're doing seal 22 today, so I'm making this introduction to the other half of the process. In order to understand the great compassion, we must understand the local compassion. And for us to cultivate local compassion correctly, we must identify the traps of when we lie to ourselves. It is not compassionate towards a victim to feel sorry for them, pity. Be honest and admit that when shit happens to other people, you don't want that to happen to you. Just admit. It's normal human reaction. Ooh, I would not like that to happen to me. Okay? That is not compassion. That's a normal reaction, and it's okay to have it. It is acceptable as a reaction to respond to the information in the world. Okay? To the suffering around us. Good. All right, let's move on. To be honest with ourselves is a difficult process, but it is feasible. It is possible. And to be honest with ourselves, we want to embrace nature as it is. The mudra 22 is like if you're holding a square box, okay? And then so you're not tense, you relax it a bit, okay? So this is the precious box mudra, okay? This is my right hand. I know the Facebook videos shows differently. This is my right hand. Om Vajra Pujagarika Nakam Rahum. First thing you'll notice is that this mantra does not end with Swaha or Hom Pat. It finishes with Rahum, which we will cover later. Okay. Literally, the Vajra with the heavy hand of gold that I find in my feelings. Okay. Or that I feel intensely, but it's not a Hom Pat, it's a Rahum. Okay. In the Chinese text, when they wrote it, like this is the advantage of that. This is the mantra to find precious minerals and stones in the earth. So of course, motivated by greed. Rahum at the end makes us identify our feelings, basically be objective in what we feel so that we don't react. Rahum is to be objective towards what we feel, okay? So that if a reaction happens, you observe it while you feel it, instead of just follow like an animal, a slave of your potentials, okay? So it is tempting for this mantra, a heavy golden hand makes you, and you have a box full of precious stones and actually lovely plants and stuff like that. It's weird the way they display it. So it makes you think, the Bujagari Kanakam is the heavy golden hand. Let's try to change the association, okay? Let's associate the Bujagari to the Vajra that starts, okay? So Vajra Bujagari. Then it is a heavy hand of Vajra. A heavy hand of diamond, even better than gold. No, not diamond, lightning, okay? And it's not the force to throw lightning. The Vajra is that pure state of being with the heavy right hand or a heavy hand. That means the way you handle things in the world. In the Bujagari means how you touch the world, okay? How you are in the mass and how you operate is in a state of integrity. All right. Now this is closer to what the Buddhist wisdom intended. Om Vajra Bujagari. To be handling this world with integrity. The physical world. Kanakam Rahum. Okay. The golden objectivity. I mean, what does that mean? Okay. Rahum, to be objective when you feel. So you do feel, you are emotional, but you keep your mind, you identify, what am I feeling? Okay. Vajra Bujagari, like to have integrity and a state of soul being in this world and how you handle things. So your actions. And then Rahum, so what is the Kanakam doing there? Of gold, okay? gold is associated to wisdom usually, okay? Like the golden petals falling from the sky. It's the Dharma coming from the higher planes to the lower planes. The golden rain has been another symbol of that. The golden crown, someone who has completely, who is absorbed in beatitude or is completely holy in the mind, bodhisattva or saint. So this is usually what golden means, okay? Let's be precise about the bijas. Ka, na, ka, okay? Causality, nature, causality. Gold is the most precious thing you find in nature. It's not anymore, but it was at the time, okay? Thousands of years ago. So, to find nature precious, to find the world precious, okay? That's what Kanakam wants to put, okay? And at the Bijala, this is a complex one every time I teach. It's like the Kanaka Yota is light, but it's light of in how it moves the world and how the world reacts, okay? There's a Ka of causality, there's Na of nature, and there's a Ka of causality again. So it's action and reaction. It's both, how things dance and play, okay? When you embrace causality of nature, this is where wisdom develops, okay? Kanaka is embracing the causality in the world. So that's always complex. Whenever I teach Kanaka, it's through the bijas, it's quite subtle. And if you did not follow the last 5 minutes, you are fine. It means you are a normal human being. It's complex, okay? I enjoy this coffee. Kanaka. I like it. I'm happy to share the wisdom. Kanakam. Okay, this wisdom is of gold. Trying to use expressions, okay? So, Kanakam Rahum. The Kanakam is associated to the Rahum. Enjoy doing personal growth. Embrace causality and stay objective in your feelings. Kanaka also means emancipate. It doesn't mean that, it means gold. But the dynamics of action and reaction in the world, in nature, means emancipate. Okay? The precious things is evolution and emancipation. That is what is precious in this world. Evolution and emancipation is what brings wisdom. If all you do is evolution, if the only thing you do is emotional integration and personal growth, you're going to become depressed. You're going to train yourself to always feel, and that means you're always going to be emotional. You'll become hypersensitive. And then you'll develop heavy reactions, like the syndrome of Tourette is one of those, okay? An automatic response to any stimuli. Your subconscious, okay? Sometimes I do, I'm just eating a meal and I just go like this and then I continue, okay? This is from, I started these kind of small reaction once in a while. It's not Tourette, okay? Tourette is when you go mentally sick, okay? But it's the beginning. It's a very light hypersensitivity to my own potentials. Because when I was training, everything was about feel, stay conscious, and grow. And there was no part about emancipation. It was very small. Okay? It was like, if we don't let the kids enjoy, they'll quit. So it was the minimum. Okay? So I learned to be extremely responsible with my emotions, but I've become so sensitive that I start to develop reaction to every little thing in my subconscious. So sometimes an arm or a leg will pop, okay? That's just kundalini in the body. It's energy that makes a chi point pop and it goes into a nerve, it stimulates the muscle. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about, emotional reactions like, things that you don't even realize why you just do these little things sometimes. And it's always because something in your subconscious, a potential with an emotion, just came up and back down. So subtle that you don't even realize what, but you'll have a little reaction. Yeah, Rajani Ma does. I used to have Tourette, healed with emotional integration. Cool. Well, emotional integration allows you to resolve some of the things that are inside that come out. Syndrome of Tourette are always talking to themselves. When they just say, asshole, bitch, fuck you, they're not talking to the people they're talking to. They're having an inner dialogue and it just comes out. Okay? So, well, that's my unprofessional opinion, okay? That's just something that I've realized over time. Anyway, about my subtle reactions, I had to realize if I only do personal growth, I'm becoming so in touch inside that everything inside starts to come out. So you need a balance between emancipation and evolution. And we're not talking 10%, 90%, we're talking 50-50, okay? And all the time you spend in drama is evenly taken out of your emancipation and opportunities to evolve, okay? So the more time you spend in drama or reacting, the less time you are emancipating and evolving, because it borrows some of that time. Now, if you're in drama, but you're working on yourself, that's in the evolution part. That's good. Okay, I'm talking drama reactive, where you're not doing your responsible work, like, why am I suffering this or that? Okay. And my little emotional reaction, my pre-Tourette, which I never had Tourette or even pre-Tourette, it's just a way to say it. Okay, my nervous outbursts, they have greatly diminished because I started to focus on enjoying life as much as evolution. And having a balance is super important, okay? So, Kanakam Rahum tells you about this balance. The ka on the left and the ka on the right, okay, in nature. So what you do to the world and what the world does to you, that's one way of saying it. Another way of saying it is the action in the world and the reaction of the world. Another way of saying it is when the world acts on you and you react. So this is all the kanaka, the balance of action and reaction around nature. And this dance of events, kanaka, okay, this produces the opportunities of emancipation and evolution. Good. So that was the complex explanation of kanaka and all the parentheses and examples I tried to give about it. Okay. Let's start the mantra from scratch. Okay. Holding a box, relax. Om Vajra Bhujagari Kanakam Rahum. With integrity, how I handle density and the heavy world. There's a M in the Kanaka. It's Kanakam Rahum. Did I do a mistake. Nope. In the PDF and the book, it's written like this: Kanakam Rahum. So just be careful because Raven just forgot the M. Okay, Kanakam. Okay, of that, the objectivity of gold, of emancipation and evolution. Om Vajrabhujagari Kanakam Rahum. Om Vajrabhujagari Kanakam Rahum. Om Vajrabhujagari Kanakam Rahum. The way I handle this world is objective while I evolve and emancipate. As a soul handling this world, I remain objective, not in control, objective of emancipation and evolution. Okay. When we practice objectivity, we fall in the trap of control because we confuse objectivity with Cartesian intellect. Okay? To be objective, we have to be in charge of, we have to take a decision. Okay, I'm accepting what I feel, okay? And I take it as it is, and I embrace it. The way to do this is to make an intellectual decision. Okay, I have to have integrity. The trap is that we go into a state of control. Like, okay, I feel, what do I feel? And we try to classify our emotions and our reactions because we trained for months or years in emotional integration. So we want to classify them, of course, okay? But that causes us to be rigid. Like, okay, I have to identify this. What is it? Relax. Relax. Objectivity is an attitude of being honest and patient. Okay, if I really want to feel what I feel, let me take some time. What is it? What is the flavor of that? It feels like this, or it feels like that. A reflex we have when we start integration is, okay, I feel guilty. We don't even take the time to breathe and taste the flavor. Like, what is it? Give yourself a chance to discover. We're so fast in wanting to identify, we throw words like, okay, this is guilt because it looks like it. And we do a mental interpretation of what drama looks like. Oh yeah, I mean, I feel guilty. Maybe it wasn't guilt. Maybe it was another pattern. Okay, another emotion, another reaction. So it's important not to go into a state of control and not to hurry in identifying. Okay, Rahum, be objective in your feeling, is to be honest and give it time. Like, what am I feeling? I won't know if I don't give myself the chance to have a flavor. A trick here is, and of course we forget the trick, but the trick here is if all you have of your feeling is the word, oh, it's that, then you're in the top of your head. Patiently, what is the flavor? And sometimes I can't identify it. I feel something, but I don't know what it is. At least you're feeling. And that is Rahum. If you can't identify which emotion it is, I did an integration this week. It took me more than an hour to just identify intellectually what was the potential. But I was feeling. And I knew it was a battle. And everything my mind threw at me, like, it's that. I said, this was too quick. Usually I get it in a minute. So spending more than an hour, maybe 2 hours, it was a really long time. just, what is that? I don't want to give it a name until I have savored, until I have tasted. Yeah, so yeah, it's rare, but it happened, it still happens. And then I found it. Yeah, I just felt the flavor. It's from the past. It's a past thing that put me in a defensive mode instead of an objective mode. Okay, I found it. So yeah, sometimes it takes patience. Do not hurry to forgive, but forgive. Do not hurry to identify, but feel. Be objective. And eventually identify. So you can do a personal growth. Okay? If what you desire is to emancipate, if what you want most is to enjoy everything you want of life, but life is pulling you towards evolution now, well, just go there. Okay? Humra. Just, okay, now I do an integration. Yeah, now it's going to be personal growth. It's not going to be emancipation. Like, this is what life chose. Yeah, it is what it is. There's this belief that we want to be in charge of our life, that we don't want to believe in destiny and fate, and that we have to do things. It's not about destiny or that you're a victim of the universe. It's a fact. We don't control everything. Stuff happens left and right. When life gives you a chance to emancipate, please relax the personal growth. It is a super important aspect, the equilibrium, the balance of emancipation and evolution. Give yourselves time to enjoy. Before the class, well, earlier I practiced the mantra again. But I was playing on my video games, Call of Duty. And I was about to unlock the gold texture for this new gun. Because you need to do achievements to unlock a special texture for the gun. So you can walk around with a gold-plated gun on the field. It was fun for me. And then, I tell this to New Agers, but Maha, you were like with guns, and do you promote war? It's a video game. Little boys like to play with little toy guns. We've been doing this since forever. Okay, it's a game. Some are agricultors, some men are agricultors, and some men are hunters. I'm a hunter. It's instinctive. I don't like guns, but I like hunting. It's like before guns it was bows, and then it was lances, and then it was a big rock. I don't know. It's genetic. I'm a little boy. I don't judge it. You see, this is just an example of give yourself the chance to do what you like as long as other people do not suffer. Enjoy. I like taking alcohol. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to insult others and be an asshole. So I take little alcohol of great quality. There was a time I took a lot of alcohol, whatever quality. Okay. And I have no judgment of that. So I hope you will loosen up your judgment. Enjoy what you enjoy doing as long as it does not promote suffering for others and yourself. And then accept that sometimes you don't know if it's going to promote suffering. We've all had our share of mistakes, and I discovered virtue through being unvirtuous, through experiences of life. It's like that. We just grow and do better. Okay? So have this attitude of wanting to discover life as a soul with the integrity of the Vajra. Be objective. Embrace what is really there through your emancipation and your evolution. Let's do 21 recitation. I'm going to count with the fingers. Okay. Om Vajra Bhujagari Kanakamrahum. 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 Good. Practicing this mantra and mudra makes you want to enjoy and evolve. Enjoy and evolve. To enjoy consciously, you have to be conscious and objective. And to evolve consciously, you have to be in integrity and objective. Let's do a parenthesis or a change subject for the last moment. This is a way of counting with the first phalange, second, and then tip. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. When you've done a hand, you've done 12. 4 fingers, 1, 2, 3 each. So when you do 21, you end up with this one. Okay. Now, a funny thing is in the explanation of various mudras. These mudras were made according to the numerology. It's an influence, okay? So when we count, the tip of the index is 3. 1, 2, 3. So you have the Shiva mudra and the mudras of higher meditation, okay? And then you have 4, 5, 6. Then you have wisdom, the fingers of wisdom, 6. 6 with Tiferet or the Dharma plane, okay? 7, 8, 9, energy and feeling. And then you have the feeling finger, okay? And then you have the intellect implication, 10, 11, 12. 12 is like, it's about the mind and the body. So the Lamed, yeah, 12 signs of zodiac, personal growth, okay, this kind of contact. So when you do this one, it's 9, but it's also 21. Okay. So you can play with that. Like on the first time you reach the ring finger, it's 9. But then you reach it again, it's 21. And then you have the shin of transformation inside. Okay. You do it twice, we can say that you have 9 and 9, or that it's a 9 and a 21. So all of this is just, it was a major influence on the choosing of the mudras, what they mean and what they actually bring to us. All right, that was just a fun thing. Hey, enjoy. See you next week.